Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing something to do with FPL again, but I'm actually going to be going through another team I've built. Now, if you join the public league, the code is on screen now, and it's also in the description if you want to just copy and paste. I've made another team, I've put it into the league because I want to see how it does. Now, I've got a little rule with this squad before we get into looking at the team I've built. Um, there can only be 2 players in the whole squad above 20% owned, and as you'll see by the title of this video, it's called the Differential 11. Now, you might look at this squad and think, okay, there's a few players in there who aren't really differentials, but the majority are. And now, my term differential is someone who is not anywhere near the majority owned, and I think only one player maybe is over 40%. I will just quickly check that statistic. Yeah, only one is above 40% owned. And even him, I'm tempted to bring him someone else because that's for me a little too high. But 20% was my little benchmark. A few of these might have jumped over it since then, I don't know. But when I brought them in, and that is how I'm going off it, because through the season it will change and they'll be more owned based on their form, whatever. This is my baseline, 20% at the start of the game. So looking into it and then bringing in players, I can only swap out a 20% player, well, 20 above 20% player for an above 20% player. Like that's the only time I can bring in someone over 20%. So it's always got to be 2 or less. So now moving over to the screen, you'll see a lot of different players in there that maybe you didn't expect me to go with. And I will actually just quickly change to the team view so you can see them a little bit better. So we're going to start off with the bench because the bench is quite basic. There's a few players in there that could play. So we're going to start off with Force. Force is a good little striker for Brentford. He's back up to Tony and Bremu if they play the 2 up top. I think Brentford might look to bring in another striker and maybe Force on loan. But I think Force, obviously I could bring in Cameron Archer, but realistically, Brentford, I'm not going to bring in players from Brentford really. So yeah, Force is kind of they're just the baseline. It could have been Cameron Archer, but I want to be a bit different because Archer's in my other squad. Then moving on to Olsen, the goalkeeper on the bench. I didn't really have anything about this one either. None of the 4.0 goalkeepers are going to play, so he's just one of the ones I wanted to bring in as a Villa player. I thought, why not? Then we got Digne. Digne will get assists. He might even pop up with a goal or 2 from free kicks. Who knows? But I thought out of all of the 5 million options, I just wanted Digne in there. I feel like last season, yes, he wasn't as high up as Cash in terms of points, but based on the minutes played, and Digne only had half a season, and he was already like over half of Cash's points. So I think Digne will probably be the better pick out of Cash and Digne this season. And then Ebiowi. I've seen him play pre-season, and he gives me Zaha vibes. I've seen a few Palace fans also say the same thing. He cuts in on off that right, and he can play through the middle as well. And I think throughout the season, it'll be like an Elise season for him. I think he will get some game time. He'll get a good amount of game time with the 5 subs as well. Your bench will play games if you pick the right players. And I think Ebiowi is one of the ones. He did well for Derby as well. But I think he's got a good future at Palace. And I think that's the right club for him to have gone to. I think he'll progress quite well. But now let's move on to the starting 11. The starting 11, you might be looking at a few of them players and going, Ben, why on earth have you got 3 United players? Why are there 2 City players? One obviously not at City anymore, but he hasn't changed in FPL yet. So that's what can I do? And you might think, where are the Liverpool players? The Liverpool players were a bit too high owned, and Cancelo, well, there might not even be any City players in this by the start of the season because Cancelo might swap out with Robertson. Trent is too high owned. The other rule I've got is I can't go for the top owned player. That's why there's no Haaland in there. That's why there's no Salah. That's why there's no Trent. That's why there's no Mendy in goal. Mendy will be in there for Pope, let's be honest, but I can't have the top owned player either. So yeah, we've got Nick Pope in goal. Let's just start off with him. I think Newcastle going to have a decent season. I think Pope, he saved Burnley so many times, and with a better backline ahead of him, a better team ahead of him, I think he'll have more clean sheets. And I think it was a really clever pickup from Newcastle. Yes, he's not as good with the ball at his feet, but not all goalkeepers need to be good with their feet. Just need to pick out passes out from the back. If Newcastle go with a 3-back or with a 4 at the back, I think they got Trippier and then have Target, who are solid fullbacks, and I think Pope will be. He'll have a good season. So I think they've got a decent start, Newcastle. Not too great, but I think they've got a decent start. So moving on to the back 4 now. We've got Cancelo as one of the defenders. I think Cancelo's an obvious pick, but he's not the top pick, the top chosen FPL defender, so I was allowed to choose him. He will have a decent season. I don't think he'll hit the heights as last season, though. I do think that. And I think Robertson may be a smarter pick, so I probably will end up putting Robertson in it, but he's injured at the minute, and no one knows quite how bad the injury is. He probably will miss a game or two at the start of the season because Liverpool have the fixtures to allow them to do that, really. We've also got, I'll leave him for now. We've got Zinchenko. Zinchenko is someone I think will be a lot more, will be in a lot more people's teams as it comes to start of season. He's moved to Arsenal, obviously in a C kit there. They haven't changed it yet on FPL. But Arsenal have a really good run of fixtures at the start of the season, and Zinchenko will probably be rotating between the left back and the centre mid spot. And from watching him for Ukraine, I can tell you he's really good in centre mid. So we'll see how he does in the Prem, but I expect good things and a good few contributions from him this season. James Justin, I watched him for England. I said it in my other video. I think James Justin will be a good pick because he likes to get high up the pitch. And if Leicester do stick with a back 3 or even a back 4, I think he'll get contributions. And then moving over to Dalot. Now, Dalot, you might be thinking, why have you gone with a Man United defender? I've watched their pre-season games. You shouldn't go too much off pre-season because it is against weaker sides. But even against Liverpool and stuff, he played great. Palace, he was very good. Palace, I was very impressed against when he played against them. And I think he'll do all right. I think he'll be their starting right back unless they bring someone in. If they do, Dalot will be out of the team. But I don't think Ten Hag rates Wan-Bissaka at all. So I think Dalot is your best option there. Moving on to midfield, we're going to start from on the right side. With Heung-min Son, I think Son, very obvious pick. He was allowed, as you can... let me go back to the transfer page. But yeah, Son was allowed to pick because he wasn't the top owned. He is the second owned. Let me just change that back. I know he's third top owned, and he's only 26.7%. So yeah, him and the Cancelo are my 2 over 20%. Yeah, so Son will be my captain with this team. I think he'll be crucial to giving this team any kind of success, really. Moving on to the next one, it's Bukayo Saka. He's not above 20%, which I was surprised at. I think he's about 16. Can I just do this? Will that show me it? Yeah, he's 16.6% selected by. So, and he was one of the top scoring attackers, top scoring midfielders last season. He's guaranteed minutes at Arsenal, and I think for this team is a really big pick, and I think he'll do wonders for this team. I was tempted by Mount as well, but as you can see, I've got another Chelsea player, which we'll get into in a second. But yeah, I think Bukayo Saka will be quite good this season. I think he'll probably do around the same numbers, if not just slightly better. And then moving on to Raheem Sterling. Sterling is an interesting one because I think it's unbelievable business by Chelsea. I think Sterling will be unbelievable for them. But I do wonder how well he'll fit in that system. He doesn't... I mean, to be fair, when he played for England in different systems than what he's used at City, he's played well. But I don't quite know how many contributions he's going to get. Wingers have kind of struggled in that system, I think it's fair to say. You look at your Ziyech's and your Werner's. Werner wasn't really a winger, but when he's brought part of the wing, he's done better. But how much will Sterling play is another thing, because they have a lot of attacking options. For the price that they paid, he's going to play a lot of games, and Raheem Sterling. He loves the Premier League, and I think he'll get some good contribution. I'm expecting around 12-ish goals, 12, 13 goals, and a good amount of assists, near 10 assists as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to how Sterling does this season. Chelsea have some good fixtures at the start as well. Now on to Jadon Sancho. He's another one that I've kind of been swayed by the pre-season. He's suited Ten Hag's system like a glove to a hand. Do you know what I mean? What a great analogy by me. But yeah, Sancho, I think he's going to be another one who will have a decent season, especially a lot better than last season. Maybe he just had that time where he needed to adjust the Prem. He also didn't have a good team around him. You know, everyone's head was dropped. The whole atmosphere around United was really poor. And I think Jadon Sancho will have a good season. I'm expecting near 10 goals for him and near 10 assists as well. I think you can call that a good season. If he gets between 15 and 20 contributions, I think that's a decent season for Jadon Sancho. Moving on to the strikers, again, we're going to start with Harry Kane because the other one you're probably all like, Ben, what are you doing? Harry Kane, I think, will be top goal scorer. I'm going to put it out there now. I think Kane will finish the season as top goal scorer in the league, with Haaland and Salah close behind. But out of all the other players I could pick from, and Kane isn't above 20%. Kane, surprisingly, is just below. But even if he goes over 20%, I'm going to allow myself it because I've had him in. He was around 15% owned, and I've had him in. He is also in my other team, which I will do an updated video closer to the start of the season on what my team's looking like. So yeah, I think Kane will score a lot of goals, and realistically, Kane and Son, if they're both in there, one of them's going to be scoring, one of them will probably be assisting the other, or if not, they'll get assists for other people and score. And you know, I think that duo, having them in the same team, is unbelievable. And you know, in my other FPL, in my other team, I am tempted to bring in Son for Salah because I feel like Son's had a better pre-season so far. Salah looks a bit off it with Nunes, but saying that, Salah then did go and score, I'm pretty sure, in back-to-back games. Could be wrong there. And now we're going to move over to the person you're probably all wondering, what the hell am I thinking? And you know what? I don't blame you too much. Anthony Martial. Again, swayed by pre-season. Man United have a decent start to the season. It's not too hard. It's not too easy. There's only really 2 fixtures in that I'd be worried about. I think they can beat Leicester. I think Brighton at home, Brentford away is a great start. I think Southampton and Leicester are good fixtures. I think Leicester, it might be a struggle. Who knows? Arsenal at home, I actually expect them to win that game. I think Arsenal have signed a lot of players. Man United probably will end up being similar, but I think Ten Hag is looking really good. Like the team is built. Even Van der Beek's looking good, and you know, not many managers like even Lampard, Rangnick, and Solskjaer have all struggled with him so far. But yeah, Martial. If we just look back at his seasons, obviously last season he hooned. The season before he didn't do great, but the 2 seasons, well, even the 3 seasons before that, if he can get back to that sort of form, I think as a second striker in this squad, I'd be over the moon with these kind of numbers. Really, I mean, this season wasn't awful, but it wasn't great. But yeah, post lockdown, Martial was unbelievable. Let's not get that wrong. He was on fire, and I hope he gets back to that. And that player Martial kind of does revolve around what Ronaldo does. Because if Ronaldo stays, he's going to be the starting striker. Martial will be backup. So it does kind of depend on what Ronaldo does. I expect Ronaldo to stay, so Martial may be out of the team after 2 games, but that's fine. That'll probably be the case anyway after the Brighton and Brentford game. But yeah, that is my differential 11. If you have any other differentials that you want to chuck at me, and I might put them in my squad, then let me know. You know, it's not been easy to pick this. You know, I think my goalkeepers I'm pretty set on, unless I change it to like an Edison, but I need to find that 0.5 from somewhere else. Defenders, you know, the likes of Trippier could be a good little shout. I wouldn't get any other player over that much instead of Cancelo. I think Cancelo's better than all of them. Chilwell is an option, and I have looked at Chilwell instead of Cancelo, or instead of Digne and finding in 0.5 from somewhere else in the team. But yeah, man, I think I've done a pretty good job. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think of the squad. There it is again. Yeah, if you have enjoyed the video, let me know by leaving a like. Subscribe if you are new, because I'm not even going to read the percentage of you not subscribed. It's something like 95%. So yeah, make sure you subscribe to the channel for regular FPL content throughout the season and regular vlogging videos from the matches. They will be back very shortly. Only a few weeks to go now. So yeah, get subscribed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, have a good time. Bye-bye.
Shut up and sit down.